Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 7th round of action here at the January GM Norm Round Robin. For this round, I'm playing against Zhrebek Khamrakulov, and he's from Uzbekistan. He's actually drawn every game. Well, he didn't fly in from Uzbekistan. He's been in New York for some time. I've played him. I drew him actually to clinch my IM title. So I think he's drawn every game of the tournament to get to 3 points. So he has 6 draws. And I have 1.5, obviously a pretty forgettable tournament. Now, I know he's an e4 player, and he actually plays the Karo Khan, so I checked his games, and recently he's been playing the 2 knights. Now, against the 2 knights, there's bishop g4, which is the main line, and you give up this bishop, and you replace all your pawns on light squares. And it's good, but I don't like it. I don't know. You have like a huge lack of space to my liking. But DE knight e4, knight f6, trying to go for a Tartakower, is met with queen e2. This is currently the meta. And white is like pretty happy here. So before the game, I decided that I was going to play g6, which I've never played, actually, like ever, over the board. And I've played this in Blitz maybe 5 times. My reasoning was that, I didn't find that much Blitz or over the board games of his that go into the main line, which is d4, bishop g7, and white has to play this move h3 to prevent bishop g4. I mean, white doesn't have to, but it's the main line. And then black goes for a position of doubled pawns, kind of Tartakower style, but bishop is out here, and we're castling. He played bishop e3 after some thought, which surprised me, because that's not, like, it's such a commitment, I thought, to put the bishop there already. I thought about doing a lot of different things. I mean, first I was even contemplating doing this. I rejected this because even though I can crack at the center, I'm pretty sure that after h3, white is much better, and white is much better. I thought about playing wild moves like queen b6, but I think he can just give up b2 and exist and be happy. I also thought he could just play like queen c1, and I don't really know what my queen is doing there. I thought about playing bishop g4. I thought about playing a lot of stuff, but I decided to go back to the structure that I'm used to, right? It kind of makes sense. That's sort of a forced sequence. But the benefit for him is he hasn't actually played h3. So, so he played bishop c4, I castled, and here he played a4. a4 was an interesting move. Before the game, I was looking at positions and, with the bishop here and the pawn here and this bishop not yet committed. And there was a lot of ideas, like, for black to just play a bunch of waiting useful moves, but at some point play a5 and even try to play a4. And yeah, the computer really likes this. Like, Leela really likes these concepts of taking queenside space and then maybe even complementing it with b5. So I was looking at a lot of different lines. And so when he played a4, I was actually kind of happy because what I had prepared before the game involved a5, a4. I just didn't know if I should do it now. I thought about rook e8, I thought about bishop f5, bishop g4, knight d7. So I played knight a6. The point is that if he takes going for this, I can throw in a check and I just take and I don't damage my structure. So I'm just happy. He castles. I went knight c7, he played rook e1, and I played a5. I think, in this mover, yes, and like this, I played a5. The reason is because I thought if I play knight d5, he will play a5 himself, and I just didn't know if I'm happy here. I didn't know if I want his pawn here, but I played a5 myself to win the battle for this square. He brought out his queen. I didn't get this move. Like, I thought he was trying to bring something behind, maybe slide the queen over, but he plays pretty fast, and, he's slowly going up on the clock, and my confidence is rock bottom in this tournament, but, I'm trying to motivate myself, trying to stay, like, within 10-15 minutes, on the clock. So I play knight d5. Very logical, kind of transferring my knight into the middle of the board. Good control of this square. And, like, in the future, just so you understand, if he plays c4, this is just bad, because I get my knight here, and my knight is just happy there. That's kind of the whole reason you play a5. And if he goes for a structure with c3, then again, bishop f5, and I'm winning the battle on the light squares. My knight is very strong. This bishop will come back at some point. These pieces don't really make a strong impression in this structure. So I don't know. I kind of like it. So he went here. I played bishop e6 because if he takes my pawn, I have this move. And if he takes my bishop, I have this, and I fork, and I win. Yes, that's good. Get forked. So he slid back, right? And here I had to decide what to do. Queen d7, queen c7, b6. I played queen c7. And I thought, I don't know what his next move is. Like, literally, I'm sitting there and I'm feeling pretty confident. I don't actually know what the hell his next move is. Like, he can't do anything. Can't move. He brings the rook to d1. I bring my rooks. Rook here, rook d. I don't know. I was like, okay, my position looks great. Maybe even here. Maybe even here in b5. I don't know. In the future, try to play for b5. I don't know. And then he took this shocked me. This absolutely shocked me. So that seemed so rushed. And my first instinct was to take and then take and just play f5 and just hit the center. He'll go here, or I thought maybe he would go to e3. Apparently he would not go to e3. Apparently he would go to c3. Because I guess he has to counteract my bishop. It kind of makes sense. And here I was thinking, I'm like, okay, this is fine. This is definitely equal. I mean, I'll bring my rooks. You know, I'll try to pressure his center. He'll bring his rook. I'll double up. He's gonna try to play d5 at some point. I don't know if this endgame was good or bad. Like, I didn't know if I should be happy or not. I thought this was completely fine. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this was the better move. And I played it, although after way too much thought. The reason for playing this is because I keep my bishop pair, right? So I have the two bishops, which should be good in the long run. And it looks like I have very weak pawns. Like, it looks like these pawns are very weak, but they're not. And that's what I kind of felt in my soul. I was like, those pawns are not weak. I'm just telling myself that they're weak because he's stronger than me. And I've had a terrible tournament. So I'm not playing the board as much as I would want to. I mean, I am. I played the best move. But you get what I'm saying. Like, I'm sitting there like, I would play that in an instant against the 2200 because I have to beat them, right? And I'm gonna find a way to transfer all my pieces, right? So he plays rook e3, and I kind of see that this is coming. Here the computer gives a very nice consolidating idea, which is b6. This is a very good move. And then rook c3 and queen here. And somehow everything is covered. Like, he can't play rook c5 going after my pawn. He can't play queen b5 because I just like come here. b6, queen d6 is very nice. It just and I can't play. I didn't think I could play this first because I thought I would have, but I guess that's just the idea. Queen d6 and pawn to b6. So rook c8. This is what I played instead, and I thought this was fine. But queen d6 is more accurate. And rook c8. My point was I just move out of the way. Like, what's he gonna do? It's actually funny. He's very close to being worse because, for instance, if you just give white like a random move, I was thinking to just put my rook right here. And that looked like a problem for white. Now I'm justifying my bishop. All right, and now we're gonna start. I'm gonna win this battle on the queen side. And his whole idea of going for this trade was to win the battle on the queen side. If I win the battle on the queen side, that's very bad for him. So I'm sitting there thinking he's gonna go rook c5. That's the only move I was considering. Rook c5, you know, to get this kind of position where he's going to try to put a knight on d4 and kind of overwhelm me, right? And then he took. I was like, what? Why would he trade? That was such an active rook. And then he went rook e1. I'm like, okay, well, I'm no idiot. I get it. I mean, he wants the same idea. But now this looks, because now I'm going to get to activate my bishop. Bishop f8. Hello. Bishop f8, bishop b4, and I calculated a line here which went rook e3, bishop b4, take, takes on c2, threatening stuff on the back rank, and this pawn. If he takes on b7, I take on a4, right? Now, if he pushes a5 instead of letting me take it, I'm still hitting stuff over here. I can still go for his a pawn. And then part of me here was like, what if I don't try to liquidate the board? Like, what if I just play here and rook c3 and queen d7? I just let him come to me. And this is the best thing. This is the best thing to do. It's actually funny. He has nothing. I was just convinced that he had a little bit of something. He was going to do something to me. You know, he was going to try to poke around on that side of the board. And yeah, like I said, if I didn't have 1.5 at f6 and this tournament wasn't already going pretty poorly, I probably would just go for this position. You know, that's what I thought about. But admittedly, I also thought bishop b4 was just a very good move because after it takes, and takes, well, the thing is, if he doesn't take, like let's say he just goes here, then again, c4. So this transfer square would shut down the whole queen side, and the transformation is winning for black. This is a much, much better endgame for black, as I just swarm, right? So that's what I was thinking. I was thinking bishop b4, and if he boots me, well, then he kills his own bishop. Then this is great. His whole queen side just got shut down by one pawn move. So I played bishop b4, and I realized I messed up. And I know you guys have turned this into a meme at this point. Like, oh, and then it dawned on me. There was a really funny post on the GothamChess subreddit about recap bingo, and one of the quotes was, I'm going to eat a I'm gonna take a bite of my mushroom slice. I'm hungry, man. I'll commute back and forth to my games. Give me like 10 seconds. I'm gonna mute the mic so I don't chew into it. The video's not over. I'm not sure I've ever done that. I'm not sure I've ever eaten. Wow. What a way to break the fourth wall. Although it's not really breaking the fourth wall because I'm talking to you the entire time. People were writing that too. But anyway, I played bishop b4. Also, some people get like very offended when I go off topic. They like really want me to... You're the worst if that's your reaction. Bishop takes b4, and I realized that I blundered. There's a very good move here. b3. Not the craziest move. It's not like it's just a pawn move, but it's an annoying move. It's an annoying move because I cannot get to his structure. So I gave him more activity than I gave myself. And if you have the bishop pair, you shouldn't be giving it away unless you have a very good reason to do so. And I thought I did. I mean, if not for b3, this whole plan is genius. He plays b3. So I get very mad, get very frustrated with myself. Because I'm like, oh, here we go, we're going to lose. But the title of the video is what it is, so you probably think that doesn't happen. So, yeah, at this point, I'm like, okay, so he's threatening this pawn. I have no back rank mate. If I play a defensive move like queen c7, he's just going to get control of the c-file. I also thought that he would play queen c5 here and just try to, like, harass my queen. I didn't like this. And again, this is, like, terrible for black. Puts his knight, brings his rook behind his pawns. Very good position for him. So I thought, okay, there's no point in doing that. So I have to give him a check. The reason I have to give him a check is that he has to retreat one of his pieces now to cover it. So one of his pieces will deactivate. If it's his knight, I was going to go here. Sacking this pawn and rook c3. This is a really nice idea. Check this out. So if he takes, it's this, right? But if he doesn't take, I take him. And if he plays check and tries to guard his rook, like everything looks protected, I was just going to go here. Everything's not protected. I also have queen d2, which is a funny move. And my idea is that if he takes, it's this, and I'm threatening rook c1. And if he plays king f1, I have this, and my bishop delivers the kiss of death. Or bishop f5, bishop d3. It's very funny. He's just got, like, no moves. So this was my idea if he played knight e1. But he played rook e1, and now I missed something really savage. So queen c7 is fine. And I saw people in game chat, like, saying that I'm really stupid for not playing this move. So those people are, like, you know, anywhere between 0 and, like, 2,000 rating and would, you know, just never worry about what folks have to say. So what I missed here was I thought this move was very good. It's not. Because, again, but here's what I missed. In this position, I have this move. Or this move. And the point is that I'm threatening the queen. If he takes me, I mate him. And he can't go back to a3 to defend his rook. So, for example, queen d7, queen a3. I mean, I just missed queen. Like, it's a really absurd, you know. Again, like I say, maybe I should have seen that. But I thought this was a very unpleasant endgame if I bring my queen back. And I thought I should be active. And people were like, oh, he blundered. Yeah, like if the guy plays h4, which no one thinks of that, okay? You think of h3. h4 you don't think of because the bishop can always come here. It's just such an odd, like, why? h4 is just like an active kind of instigating move, and you kind of weaken my structure here, and you can kind of just ditch your queen side completely and go get this because you soften up my g6 square. I mean, maybe h4 is findable. He played a5, and I went after his a pawn. He took, and then here I saw the same idea. I saw that he could just go this way. And so my original intention was to take here with my rook. So that if b4, I play like rook a7 or even something like queen b2. And then, you know, my idea is rook a2 or rook a1. And I thought, okay, I'm very happy. But I didn't play rook a5 because I got very scared of this move. That is terrifying. Because look, if I play queen b2, I lose my rook. If I move my queen at all, I lose my rook. I didn't know what to do here. Well, the engine shows rook a3, queen f6, rook b3, knight here, and the absolutely savage defensive resource, which all the backseaters saw, queen e2. Yeah, queen e2. That is quite a move. Forgive me for not seeing that from a distance. If not, I just thought, I'm like, oh my god, this is like terrible. What am I doing? But yeah, so I played queen a5, and he played this very quickly, and I thought this was an inaccuracy because I'm still in the mindset that I'm defending. I'm still in the mindset like I have to consolidate, because once I realized that he still has this idea in my mind, I'm like, well, you know, he's got a passed b pawn. His knight versus my bishop is obviously not a dynamic that's advantageous, but my bishop kind of sucks right now, so, and I'm still worried about this. And then he played this quickly, and I just blitzed this move because he can't go here, and I'm threatening rook b8. And so in my mind, I'm like, I think I've equalized. I think I'm doing completely fine now, and I'm gonna go rook b8. He goes here, I kick his queen out. He goes here. And I'm like, is he doing what I think he's doing? So I just attack his queen. And I start realizing he's going to repeat moves, or he's going to retreat. Now, if he retreats, I hit him with tempo, so that obviously isn't any good. And if he goes all the way back to e2, I'm just going to go rook b8, pressure, queen b6, pressure, bishop f5, something like that. I don't know, king g7. But he repeats. And I told myself that if he repeats moves, I'm repeating. I'm not playing on. My reasoning here was, honestly, this is just a good game to stop on. In a different universe, I don't have 1.5 out of 6. I haven't played some of the worst chess that I've played in years. The game continues, and I try to play for a win. And maybe in that universe, I win the game. Maybe in that universe, we still draw. Maybe in that universe, I still find a damn way to lose. And then that's a really depressing train ride home. But not today. And so I just decided to repeat. And turns out computer's actually very excited about my position here. Thinks, play a bunch of just solid moves, and this is actually, this pawn, it's passing, but it's a liability more than it is an asset for white. So, as much as I hate to say that was, my best game of the tournament thus far, it definitely was. It definitely was. I was never as winning as I was in rounds 1 and 2, but I felt confident in almost all my moves. Well, confidence is a strong word, but they turned out to be pretty good moves after all. I missed one of his ideas, but luckily I immediately recovered. I played the best move in response to his best move, and I managed to stabilize. And yeah, I mean, okay, h4 is like +1 for white, but no one understands why. The only person who understands is Stockfish, and you have to ask Stockfish. So I was happy. I didn't win the game, but I wish I played like this in all of my games. And stay tuned, folks, for the last 2 rounds coming up. Appreciate all your support, by the way. This has obviously been the most disastrous tournament I've ever played, and it's actually been a bit of my worst nightmare. This is what I have dreaded since the day I came back to chess tournaments and making these recaps, that something like this would happen. From everything to people cheering for my downfall, to having my games being broadcasted and torn to shreds in front of a live audience, to everything in between. So it sucks. It sucks, and but I wouldn't trade this career for anything in the world. So it kind of comes with the territory. But I appreciate everybody kind of, just kind of riding along this journey with me. So I'll see you for the final recap, or 2 recaps, I should say. Get out of here.